Hi everyone! So today's video is going to be 100 things I did in 2025, so without further ado to keep this video moving, let's get started. The new year started off with me visiting my friend Melissa in Cincinnati, Ohio, and then I got snow locked inside Columbus, Ohio. I wrote one of my favorite blog posts I've ever written titled Wear Your New Clothes. I visited the Arboretum with my family. I posted my first ever video which was on the pre-spring trends for men. I posted my first ever what I wore this week. I attended a 2025 company kickoff meeting at this beautiful hall, and here's a picture of a chandelier that I took. I began my first ever series, which was on finding your personal style on TikTok. Bought my first ever Pokemon cards as an adult. I visited my best friend Joshua on his spring break from law school. I went out in Lexington, Kentucky for the first time since graduating college. I ate way too much food at Tally Ho, which also went under a renovation for some reason. I ate the best ranch I ever have at my friend from college Ellie's house. I played Pokemon TCG on the Ohio State University quad. I found one of my favorite Pokemon cards on the ground randomly at Ohio State University, and then I finished my personal style series at the Ohio State Library. I also read Sunrise on the Reaping in one sitting from front to back. At a photo shoot in downtown Arlington Heights. I started physical therapy. I went out at Slugger's Bar in Wrigleyville, Chicago with some coworkers. I posted about why I was moving my content to my main Instagram. I announced my new job at Vogue for April Fool's Day. I celebrated my senior thesis turning 1 year old. I bought my first ever ring light. I filmed my first ever video in public. Gave fashion advice to people on Reddit. I created a Severance theme inspired video. I wore my dad's Jerry Garcia ties for an entire week. Got dressed up with my family for Easter. I gave my thoughts on every single Met Gala look. I finished my first round of physical therapy. I moved in with my best friend for the summer. Celebrated Mother's Day with my mother and grandma. Visited Oak Park with Joshua. Bought my first ever full art Pokemon card. Remembered why I need to party more in Chicago. I posted another one of my favorite blog posts titled We Need to Party More. Watched the Party for You music video by Charlie XCX. I attended a graduation party at random with my grandma and cousin. I played in my first ever Pokemon card tournament. I waited in line for over an hour for the Destined Rivals ETB. I partied again in Chicago with some more friends. Gave my first ever work presentation. Went to Labriola's in Chicago for dinner. And I ate the food at Labriola so fast that I forgot to take a picture of it. I then went swimming in my parents' pool for the first time ever. I went to Jameson's Char House for Father's Day with my family. I posted 2 videos on shampoo and conditioner. I went out in Lincoln Park, Chicago with another one of my friends. I visited my best friend in Worcester, Ohio. I came in last place at my second ever Pokemon card tournament. I bought brand new clothes for my trip to Puerto Rico. I got back into K-pop after watching K-pop Demon Hunters. I posted my first ever What's Up Joshua. I traveled to Cincinnati for my friend Melissa's housewarming party. I celebrated the Pokemon White Flare set. I flew to Puerto Rico out of O'Hare Airport, and then I clapped alongside the rest of the flight to celebrate the plane landing in Puerto Rico, which was my first time ever going. I read the book Last Night is Fun by Holly Michelle during this trip. I went to the reef with my family to celebrate arriving in Puerto Rico. I discovered how amazing stuffed tostones are. I saw a walking band with a sax solo in a hotel lobby. I partied in downtown Puerto Rico. I spent a day at the beach in Puerto Rico. I saw Bad Bunny in concert in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I posted my longest blog post ever on my trip to Puerto Rico. I attended my little brother's first ever football game. I posted my first ever YouTube video. I unfortunately did not get tickets to see Carly Rae Jepsen's magnum opus Emotions 10th anniversary concert in California. I came in 19th place out of 27 people at my first ever regional Pokemon card tournament. I had an absolute blast celebrating my TT's birthday. I went back to physical therapy. I posted a video on my college major merchandising. I reacted to my first ever TikTok. I visited my friend Melissa again in Cincinnati for an even better party. I posted my first ever recap and reflect series during my vacation in Columbus. I went to Costco for the first time ever. I told you all why I love Mega Starmie. I celebrated my little brother's senior night. I went out to this restaurant in Crystal Lake for my friend's birthday. I reacted to Denzel Alexander recreating my outfits. I dressed up as Prince for Halloween. I received these great sweaters from Oxknit Clothing. I cried my eyes out watching Wicked for Good. 6-7, need I say more? I went out for Thanksgiving Eve. I helped my parents cook Thanksgiving dinner, and then I lost the family game of 31 afterwards. I spent the entire year listening to Addison Rae. I was told by Spotify that I'm 21 years old. I watched Ben Johnson take his shirt off in honor of a Bears victory. I attended my second ever vendor lunch for work. I served on the planning party for the holiday party at work. I then attended the work holiday after party in Lincoln Park, and then I forgot my phone in the lift from said party, and then I told you all why Addison Rae is my dream girl. I then celebrated Christmas Eve with my family. I then had my best friend Joshua stay with my family for an entire week. I wrote the script for this video, video, and then I turned 24 years old at the Village Squire. Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching my 100 things that I did inside 2025 video. It was just so much fun getting to take a trip down memory lane and see all of the things that we got to do in 2025, which is honestly why I'm just so excited for everything that we're going to do together inside 2026. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss it, make sure to hit the subscribe button to be notified every single time I post a new video. But most importantly, I hope you have a fantastic new year, and thank you so much for watching.